like to be entertained? Do you like learning new things and finding new opportunities? Do you prefer stimulation over boredom? If so, congratulations, you have a normal human brain. The human brain is wired to seek out novelty, stimulation, and opportunity. We usually don't notice this happening, but the mind is continually evaluating what's going on and asking, is this interesting? Could this be good for me? If what's happening now is judged to be uninteresting or not rewarding enough, the mind quickly looks for something better. This is probably what's happening when you habitually open up your phone for no real reason. Now, the brain's tendency to look for something better isn't inherently a bad thing. It helped our ancestors stay alive and contributed to the evolution and achievements of our species. However, sometimes this tendency to habitually look beyond the present moment can cause us to miss out on valuable experiences.
First, I was dying to finish high school and start college. And then I was dying to finish college and start working. And then I was dying to marry and have children. And then I was dying for my children to grow old enough for school so I could return to work. And then I was dying to retire. And now I am dying. And suddenly realize I forgot to live.
What would it be like to be at the end of your life, reflecting back, and realize you had missed most of it because your mind had spent so much of that time looking ahead for something else? We can also miss out on opportunities in the present when we spend too much time ruminating on the past. Sometimes it's good to reminisce about past events, or helpful to reflect on an experience to learn from it. The problem is when we get lost rehashing past experiences, and we may not notice that we're stuck in an unhelpful spiral of rumination. This is where mindfulness can be so helpful. Learning to pay attention to what's happening in the present moment, bringing an open curiosity to whatever is there, and not needing it to be different, is the heart of mindfulness. By getting better at noticing the mind's tendency to get lost in the future or the past, we create more opportunities to fully experience what the present moment has to offer. And with more mindful moments, we have more opportunities for connection, gratitude, peace, and joy. As mindfulness teacher Thich Nhat Hanh explains, the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. In contrast, if you are inattentive, you will miss it. In fact, research shows that a wandering mind tends to be an unhappy mind. Research published in the journal Science studied this in a fascinating way. Researchers used a smartphone app to send random alerts to thousands of participants to see what they were doing, how they were feeling, and where their minds were at that moment. They learned that people's minds were wandering an average of 47% of the time. And across every kind of activity, people reported being much less happy when their minds were wandering than when their attention was focused on what they were doing. A lot of other research supports this, showing how a wandering mind tends to gravitate to negative and unhelpful thinking. Now, we're not saying you need to have this laser-like focus on everything you're doing every hour of the day. It's also healthy to have periods where you can just let your mind go where it wants to. But as a general way of living and being in the world, learning to be more engaged and attentive to what's happening right now brings more fulfillment and satisfaction. Consider this quote from Leo Tolstoy. "Remember then, there is only one time that is important, now. It is the most important time because it is the only time when we have any power." Think about that. Life is always happening right now. The past and future only exist as thoughts occurring in the present. We can plan for the future, but that planning is always happening right now. We can reflect on the past and learn from it, but that reflecting and learning is always happening in the present. So really, the present moment is all we ever have. By learning to really be wherever we are, we'll be able to look back on a life fully lived and set ourselves up for a best possible future because we've learned to make the most of every moment. This from Henry David Thoreau. You must live in the present, launch yourself on every wave, find your eternity in each moment. Fools stand on their island of opportunities and look toward another land. There is no other land. There is no other life but this. Mindfulness practices help us develop the capacity to find our eternity in each moment. We're about to do a guided exercise together, but there are many ways you can practice being here now throughout the day. If you're driving and waiting at a stoplight, take a moment to notice the sensations of your hands on the steering wheel. If you're having a conversation with someone, be deliberate about giving them your full attention. And one of my favorite short exercises is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow down and notice 5 things you can see, find 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. It's pretty cool to learn that there is almost always a symphony of sensory experiences available to us if we just take a moment to pay attention to what's here now. Okay, let's practice together.